And here we go with another sick, disgusting, disturbing story. You're gonna see a black lady tell her story how she was SA'd by the teacher starting at 12 years old. By the time she was 15, she had a baby by him. I think this is a white tea man because they found his daughter and she looks white tea. She could be biracial, but it looks like a white tea woman. And couldn't find out she was sexually abused by her father as well. So this is proof right here that though black girls have never been safe, they have never been protected. They're not safe at home, in the classroom. I'm guessing after she had the baby, her family soon kicked out on the streets and she had to survive on her own. That's very common in Blackistan. So I can only but imagine way back in the day, in the late 70s, this is happening, and you want to tell somebody, you want to tell your family, and nobody's going to believe you. And this bastard said, well, no one's going to believe you. You just a nigga from the projects. Fair use. Let's watch.
You're looking at special needs student Nancy Alexander. She was just 15 years old when she says she was supposed to be learning how to read by a teacher, but instead she got pregnant by him. And after 43 years, she's now breaking her silence. And we want to give viewer discretion on this story. It may be very difficult to listen to and also very difficult to watch.
I was repeatedly raped over the years.
She was placed in a special needs class. Those needs were taken advantage of.
We trusted this person to just realize that he was two different people.
Trust me, I know.
Good.
I tried to commit suicide 3 times.
More than 4 decades have passed, but Nancy Alexander says the trauma still hasn't.
So you were raped
Yes,
in the school building.
in the Chicago Public School building.
For most children, school is a place to learn. For Nancy, she says it became the place where her childhood was stolen.
It started with the funneling, touching on my breast. And it just went up the line. The older I got, he felt like, oh, I could do more.
She alleges the teacher assigned to help her read became her abuser. As a child, Nancy says epilepsy made reading difficult, and it led her to fall behind grade levels. The school assigned her to a teacher for extra help. She says that decision changed her life forever.
He would tell me I would have to stay behind. Oh, you need to take a spelling test. I'm like, we're on the same, why we all can't take the spelling test together? Right?
And were you raped this one time and conceived, or were you repeatedly raped?
I was
over
repeatedly
years?
raped over the years.
When did the first rape start? Do you remember how old?
I was about 12 or 13 when he started penetrating me.
Nancy says the abuse left her pregnant at just 15 years old. She gave birth and kept the secret for decades.
I didn't tell for the simple reason that he said he would take me away from my mother and my father. He said that nobody's going to believe me because I'm a black little girl from the projects. But it wasn't that nice word, black. Okay?
What did he say?
He said, ain't nobody going to believe you because you're a little from the projects.
She says those words kept her silent until a near-death experience and questions from her daughter.
I was bleeding at the brain. Then my daughter got sick. And I was like, if I'm dying, he can't do nothing to me. But my daughter needs to know who her people are, who the go-to people are. And then I thought about it. I was like, if he raped me, he gonna do the same thing to her.
In October of 2022, more than 4 decades after she says the abuse began, Nancy filed a report with Chicago police. The incident report states the alleged sexual assault started in 1978 at the former John Farron Elementary School and continued through the summer of 1982, including, she says, inside a closet at Parkman Elementary School.
Nobody never seen it. Nobody never came in his classroom. Nobody never said anything to him. It was like he was not there.
Nancy says she was kicked out of the house at just 16 years old and forced to survive.
I said, he's out of town. And then I had to tell her the story. He did.
Nancy and her daughter wanted answers. She turned to Ancestry.com, hoping to find a relative of Richard Neff. He's the teacher that she says abused her.
We decided to call every number, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, we would call. 8 o'clock in the morning, we would call. 9 o'clock in the morning, we would call all the way up to 10 o'clock at night. No answer. We finally got one answer, which was his daughter. What made you realize that the story she was telling you was believable enough for you to drive to Chicago at some point and give up your DNA?
As she was talking and explaining the details, there was one detail that really stood out. And that was the moment that I knew that this happened. And she was talking about when my father would abuse her, he would wear this beige suit jacket on the days that it would happen. And she came to know that that was going to be what happened that day. And my father had this like closet full of brown suit jackets, and I always hated the color brown. And my father was a very methodical person. He ate the same thing every day. He did the same workout every day. He had the same routine. He never deviated. And I just knew from that detail that she was telling me the truth.
That belief became action. For M, she drove more than 1,300 miles from Montana to Chicago to give police her DNA.
I trusted the police to do their job, and they didn't. So I called as soon as I heard from Nancy, I got the number of the detective. I called her. I said, I would like to talk to you. I would like to tell you my story. I would like to answer any questions. I would like to be of any help that I can. I'd be happy to give my DNA.
The results answered a question that had lingered for more than 40 years. The DNA report showed a 99.79% probability that M and Nancy's daughter are half-sisters, with the same father, being Richard Neff. And it also led to another allegation.
I think the reason that I feel so close to Nancy is that we were being abused at the same time.
M is alleging she, too, was sexually abused by him and doesn't want to use her birth name.
The memories that I recovered were from ages 1 to 6.
Years after the DNA results, the criminal case has stalled. The question isn't whether science connects them, it's whether the law still can.
Look, we have not only knocked on the door of the Chicago Police Department, but we've given them everything, including DNA samples from Miss Alexander, as well as other family members from the culprit in this case.
Nancy's attorney, Jared Adams, says they've given investigators what they believe is compelling evidence, including DNA.
We're talking 2 years having confirmed, no doubt, 99.9% that she gave birth to a child of a grown man who took advantage of her.
Governor J.B. Pritzker signing HB 2135 in 2019. Illinois eliminated the statute of limitations for many sexual assault cases. It was effective January 1st of 2020. But according to a Chicago police report, prosecutors determined this case could not be charged because the previous statute of limitations had already expired and the new law could not be applied retroactively. We tracked down Richard Neff, now living in North Carolina, now 79 years old. I called him, hoping to give Neff the opportunity to respond to the DNA result.
Hi, Mr. Neff. My name is Tia Ewing. I'm calling with Fox Chicago.
I left a detailed message. He never returned my call.
It's awful and maddening and unfair. I just find that interesting that he found this job on the South Side.
3 women, 1 family, forever changed. 1 DNA test that answered questions only science could. But science can't decide a criminal case. For Nancy, the search for truth is over. The search for justice continues.
What does justice look like to you?
He should go to jail. I want that justice.
And we have heard from the Chicago Police Department on this story. They tell us this case is deemed exceptionally clear to close, meaning they've identified a suspect, but they can't just go and arrest him. And that's because the Cook County State's Attorney's Office says that this case has passed the statute of limitations, saying because of Illinois law, they can only go as far back to 1986. There's more of their statement on our website, Fox 32, Chicago.
Man, this is some bullshit. So, like I said, little black girls have never been safe anywhere around any men, no matter what race. And this is just real disturbing. So let me do something right quick. Let me pull something up right quick.
For
Wait a
most
minute.
children,
Let me go to something right quick. Look at that face. This is a face of a young troubled woman that's being abused and essayed left and right. This is a damn shame. She'll never get justice. Well, if she can't get justice, I wish she can get a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So my guess is this is some sick, degenerate white tea man who took advantage of this girl. You saw the daughter. Let me pull her up right quick. So from Montana. Yeah, well, we can just call her white tea for now because that's what she looked like. She could possibly be a biracial. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what the man looked like, but the sick bastard did do this to this girl, and I wish this woman could receive some kind of justice all these years later. So that's great they signed that law, but they said, well, it's too late. So my only thing is, I can say, see if you can get a couple $1 million for your troubles, and you and your daughter can do something with the money and get therapy and seek counseling or something like that. Because this shit here, this, I don't care how much therapy or how much counseling you get. You know, trauma is trauma, and it'll never go away. So all you can do is just live with the bad memories and just try to cope with it, and you know, be the best mother that you can. And if our daughter should have kids, be a good grandmother and look after the children and make sure this doesn't happen. Because these males, I don't care what color the man is, I just look at all of them as suspicious, as being some kind of degenerate pedo. Everybody, please keep the kids safe. We have to keep the little girls safe. And I'm out.